I do quite a lot of large-scale public art projects. I've been an artist for about 25 years, so it was quite interesting to see what BAMM North had done before and try and sort of like put a bit of me into this project. Basically, we got this information that Hull was, City of Culture 2017, and that there was some funding available for community projects. So we really wanted to be part of that, and Hull is sort of in the centre of our region in a way. Luckily, we had a very good small committee of people who did lots of different jobs within that. Funding application, very important. Our member Corinne was doing that. We had a brilliant graphic design couple in the team, so they dealt with the leaflets, which is really nice and lively and modern. And so we sort of thought, what can we do with this project? So BAMM North had done some projects before, but because they weren't really thinking about from a public art point of view, they were thinking about the individual pieces, and then the display of those wasn't that important. So a bit like a small exhibition where things might be on tables, or in a hospital they might be in small squares in a row. Brilliant work, but so close together you couldn't really see it as individual pieces. So I just felt like I wanted to like explode that really, and sort of really spread it out and make it more a piece in its own right as well as the individual pieces. So I was working with a lot of bird images at the time, and I just off the cuff suggested, oh, it's like a load of birds flying off or something like that. And to my amazement, the people in BAMM North just grabbed that by the neck and just ran with it, and they almost ran off without me. Before I knew it, they were cutting out birds and trying mosaicing birds and bringing them back to the next meeting. So they're just so nice and enthusiastic, and I just thought, yeah, this is going to be great. We're going to have 6 community groups in the end working on making birds. We're going to have a lot of birds. We need somewhere good to display this. And I think the initial reaction to that was, okay, somebody said, well, should we look for a church hall so we can show these? I just thought, no, if we're going to do this, we're going to do all this work, we've got to have somewhere really public. It's the whole City of Culture. Who's going to find the church hall to go and look at it? Let's go for it. We've only got to deal with one person, the station manager. So we actually did choose the station because a couple of our members who were applying for the grant looked around the whole of Hull, and they ended up at the train station, and there was a wall in the entrance that looked empty, and they thought, oh yeah, that's about as big as that bit there. We thought, we'll do that. So Diana and myself and Alison Hepburn went to look at this space, and when we arrived we realised it wasn't just this wall, it was a whole square of a room. So this little maquette on the bottom left is a maquette of the space, and I can't actually remember how many metres that is, but you'll see in the later slides how big that space is. We stood in that space, and Diana and I were looking around the room, and we were just saying, why just look at that wall? Look at this. We've got white walls all the way round. Wouldn't it be brilliant if the birds just flew everywhere? So we went for that, and we said, okay, well, this is going to be big. We're going to have to work hard, but we've got good members. We can do that. So there's some of the cutouts. There's me talking about the maquette. Corinne's looking on like, oh, right, okay. And yeah, there's some of the initial birds we used for a little bit of marketing and doing the leaflets. And I'm going to talk about installation later. That's that top sketch that I took to show the station manager. Now Jen is going to tell us about what happened with the workshops.
Tag, 5 minutes. We're keeping time here, guys, don't worry. Yeah. We're not going to overrun. Okay, so I'm going to click you on next one. Okay, so we had 6 groups for the workshops. Again, like Corinne, Coralie, I'm pretty new to the group. I was there 2 years. This workshop was the first workshop that I'd done with the group. I was terrified. I thought, my God, they're going to realise I know nothing and kick me out of the group. But actually, it went all right. Can't stress enough the bid that Corinne wrote was absolutely bulletproof. She got the community aspect. She hit all the targets, hard to reach families, children with disabilities. We had a synagogue for all cultures, faiths and creeds. It really did spread the net wide, and that was one of the reasons why it was so successful. This one was one of the ones in the schools. These families, the sort of the area around, I don't know if you've been to Hull, these wouldn't have had the opportunity to do a workshop like ours. We're really privileged people that we get to play with all these lovely materials and come to meetings like this and be with like-minded people. These guys, these kids, they would never have had the opportunity to. I initially was a sort of hedgemark for Age UK, to sort of appeal out to the older generation. I tried really hard. The only day they could do after 3 weeks of emails was Monday. Monday's the only day that I told them in the first place I couldn't do. So I thought, right, okay, guys, we can't, sorry, tried. So I got left to my own devices then. I really liked the imagery of offering it to a hospice, so that there'd be a lasting legacy for those people that were poorly and the families that would be seen, that would be displayed. But the logistics of it, after calling a few people, it wasn't functional. Although they loved it, they loved the idea, but they said thank you, but it wasn't a go. So moving on, these are my guys on the right hand side of the page. I thought, well, what can I do that nobody else can do in BAMM North? God, jazz hands, I can sign. Okay, so I thought, right, I'll pitch it. So I rang, and the manager is the lady second in the middle on the right hand side, Sarah, with the big green and orange bird. She's the manager of the Hull Deaf Centre. So I rang her and I said, hi, my name's Jennifer Watson, I'm from British Mosaics. I've got this pitch to you. I've got a really, really good idea. It's going to be fantastic. Do you want to do it? And she said, what? I said, it's a free class. Oh, it's free. Yeah, come on then. Come down. I was like, oh, all right then. So she said, well, send me an email. So I sent her an email. She's like, yeah. How many people do you want? 12. Fantastic. I've got you 12. When do you want to come? Well, brilliant. Right, okay. Oh, that was easy. So, packed all my stuff up in my wheelie trolley. The birds, thankfully, thank you, were all cut, they were all primed, they were all edge painted. We had 3 sizes, sort of small, medium and large, for depending on how bold people felt they could pick their own bird. The materials that we used were all indicative and representative of the workshoppers, because it's my kit, it's my stuff. So I noticed that a lot of people in BAMM work stained glass, and I thought about it, and I thought, no, not for the first time, because I've cut myself out as many times as it is. So a lot of mine are the formed squares, the rounds, there's beads, buttons, jewellery, charms, broken earrings, bits of mirror, you name it, all sorts. A couple of my guys, which I loved. We've got Michael, top in the middle right. He's colourblind as well as being deaf, so he wanted just black and white. So I had to hunt it all out of the pieces for him. It's the only black and white bird in the whole flock, so it stands out quite nicely. A lady on the top right, the blue and the pink ribbon, she wanted to do a band for the miscarriage charity. So there's a story there to tell as well that's permanently displayed. They really got a lot out of it. We have 2 married couples in there, top middle. The artist on the left-hand side is the wife of Sarah. They live in the Hull Deaf Centre, which, by the way, is amazing. It's a space that's just resigned for deaf people and the families. It's like this little hidden town in the middle of the Hull city. It's got its own bar, playroom, rooms. I'm overrunning quickly, so I'm going to click on. But yeah, they loved it. They absolutely loved it. So it was like a family, and they thought it was fantastic. So clicking on, again, some more workshops coming in there. These guys, the 123 birds, half of them were done by the workshops and half of them were done by us. So we finished it off, we grouted the birds for them, so we got the final touch, the finishing pieces, to make sure that any loose bits, odds and sods, were restuck on and polished up. So we finished off that for them, but they did amazing, and they were all so different. I gave no instruction on design to my guys, so just go, just do whatever it is that you feel, own it, all yours. So yeah, these were the workshops, clicked on, and this was the first time they all came together in one space.
So, like, having put my hand up as the person who did large-scale work, I then landed the job of not only trying to do the layout, but also working out how the hell we were going to hang these birds. The place is listed, so we couldn't do lots of drilling, so each bird could not be hung individually. And actually, to be honest, that would be a nightmare anyway. So I came up with the idea, and also I thought maybe people might want them back at some point, so they couldn't be permanently glued to something. So I came up with the idea of having a mesh circle, because a circle can go any way up and it doesn't have to be straight, so, you know, that's okay. A mesh circle that the birds could have on their back, a D-ring with a plate attached to it, and then a little carabiner, you know, like a little clip, that then could go through the D-ring and clip onto the mesh. And it could be moved around if, you know, when they were hanging, they were too close together, we could unclip and, you know, relocate. And the mesh circles we had fabricated by Darren Richardson, who's in my studio building, which is behind one of those big doors there. And he basically cut out the mesh circles and welded some brackets onto them. So we had a day when all the flock came together and all the BAMM North members got together in the studio space. So this is like a big atrium area with studios off it, that you can, you know, go up on the balcony there and look down. So that was really handy. And we basically got all the birds out and laid them all out, and we had a great day with lots of food and lots of like chaos and packaging and like all this. So then we very carefully and skillfully labelled all the birds to say which mesh they belong to, and packed them all back in boxes with names on, you know, and got everything we thought really sorted out. And then the mesh all had to go off and be painted because it was copper, and it had to go on these white walls, which were, you know, to make them look invisible, they were white. So Diana and I gathered ourselves to reassemble the meshes, getting the boxes out that were all nicely labelled, only to find that they weren't all in where we thought they should be. So we had a bit of a like, this is the moment here. We thought we'd share that with you, that little moment there of angst that Diana and I realised that it was going to be a kind of like a 2-day job instead of a couple of hours, so that was all right. So yeah, so then we had a day or two of installing in Hull, and luckily, we were very lucky actually, we had an installation budget which was quite substantial because we knew it was a big job, but the station manager very kindly arranged for the 2 guys to come and help us for the day with a scissor lift free of charge. And we kind of in the meeting early on, we kind of said, oh, and about installation, would you be able to do that? And he just said, yeah, we can do that. So we just thought, okay, we won't mention the installation budget, we'll just use that for other things that we need to pay for. So yeah, we had quite a lot of fun, like Corinne's up there at the top of the scissor lift in her hard hat, etc. Diana sporting her t-shirt, which she couldn't find this morning to wear, so unfortunately we won't see that. And yeah, that was just loads of fun day, and there were lots of us there actually. Some people brought cake to keep us going and brought us coffees and stuff, and other people, you know, were there talking to Tamara's programme on TV. The press, the cameraman and interviewer came from that because they were thinking about slipping in a little section of that programme about this, so we kept having to stop to do interviews with them, but actually it was too much to include in the end. We had a school group turn up, so there's Alison Hepburn talking to them. And just generally, being in the public eye, installing this was quite a spectacle in itself. So passers-by were stopping to ask us about it, and you know, it was really quite a nice day, and wasn't too stressful, day and a half. Yeah, so I think, is that everything I've got on that section? Yeah. Oh, I've got some photos of the final thing, so there you go. So this is the room, vast room, with big double doors. We've also got some graphics on, well not graphics, but they're transfers on the windows. That was the previous art project for the year. It was in 4 sections. This was the section before, but they left them up and they look great. It's really, really hard to see the detail and the colour in these. And, you know, a lot of the professional artists involved and the mosaic artists involved, you know, they're really, really, really good pieces mixed in with, you know, first-timer community pieces that are, you know, really quite informal. So it really needs to be seen in the flesh, unfortunately.
They always look better in real life.
They do, yeah. So that's just another angle on it. Okay, and now it's back to Jen. Okay, so the launch party. It was the cherry on the top. It was fantastic. We'd always sort of said that we were going to have like a big finishing piece to do for the City of Culture. So that was last September. So the birds have been up for the year, though it was kind of open-ended. The original agreement was the year,
but nobody's rung us to ask us if they want to take them down, so just kind of hoping they stay up there, really. So we've made the pins, the birds, Fly to Freedom, that was for all the workshoppers and for the artists attended, and then by the time everybody else had got one, we just started handing them out. There was activities for the kids, like making paper and materials, sticky on mosaics. Some of the volunteers for the City of Culture in there, 2 of the birds, the map, and then we had Bananarama. Bananarama are a walking band dressed as motorcyclists that opened for us. They walked through the entire train station in a conga line for pretty much an hour, drawing people closer and closer on a rush hour traffic commute. It was a really interesting atmosphere. It was brilliant. You couldn't fault it. These are everybody that we could assemble. Pretty much the entirety of the Deaf Club came out for the reveal, which was the only workshop in its entirety that did, which means I knew that I'd hit it on the head. They fetched friends and family as well. They're the top right hand gang guys, and this was point to your bird, so everybody got in there and pointed to their own bird. It was really lovely to see everybody come out and look for theirs, and you have obviously all the commuters stopping and sort of looking at everybody as well and what's going on here, so that was nice. These are the names, so you have got the entirety of everybody that helped put it together, participated, all up there for everybody to see, plus on the left hand side that's all our birds from BAMM North that we did in preparation, so that's our half to show everybody. Basically that was it. And right at the end of this, I was sat chatting to Rachel, who did my job before, and I was like, so, what are we going to do next? She went, I don't know, but do you want my job? I went, oh, okay, thanks. So, and that's when I got the role of coordinator for the North. So I think it was intense. It was a lot of work for a lot of people. But and I affectionately think of the group of BAMM as being the A team, the B team, and the C team, with no A team music. There's the people that are doing it professionally, that are working full time, and it's their bread and butter. And then you've got the people that are maybe doing it part time as a second job, selling, and then you've got the hobbyists that are purely in it for the social and for the love, and but everybody working together. That was how this came off. So yeah, every single person just pulled the weight, really. Yeah.
So just like to say thank you to everyone who was part of that. I know not many are here today, but also thank you as well to BAMM for your sort of enthusiasm about it and your appreciation of what we've achieved, but also just to sort of try hopefully inspire some future collaborative projects, and just to see what can be achieved together when we work together, and not so much thinking about the individual piece on your table. Think about how it's going to be displayed, and really sort of like blow people's minds with our ability of what we can do together.